Hey everyone, it's your boy AnimeAchiHarex, and today we're diving into another epic What If. This time, we're exploring what if Issei was the reincarnation of Yujiro Hanma. The final duel. The world stood still. The night sky burned crimson as lightning split the heavens in two. In the heart of a deserted valley, two figures faced each other. One, a monster in human flesh. The other, the son who carried his blood and his will. Yujiro Hanma. Baki Hanma, father and son, predator and successor. Their battle had long transcended the limits of humanity. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The air twisted with pressure. Trees shattered from the sheer force of their stares. Yujiro stood bare-chested, muscles carved like living armor, his veins pulsing with power. His trademark smirk carried both pride and madness. Baki's fists were trembling, not with fear, but with purpose. His body was torn and bleeding, but his spirit burned brighter than ever before. Yujiro, so, this is what you've become, Baki. A man who dares to look me in the eyes without trembling. Baki, no, father. I'm more than that. I'm the man who'll end you. Yujiro chuckled, the sound echoing like thunder. He stepped forward once, the ground cracked open. The demon face appeared on his back, alive, snarling. Then he vanished. A shockwave exploded as their fists collided. The sound alone shattered nearby cliffs. Each punch carried the weight of continents, the culmination of every fight, every lesson, every scar. Baki ducked under a swing that would have decapitated a lesser man and countered with a flurry of blows, each faster, sharper, stronger than anything he'd ever thrown before. Yujiro blocked, deflected, and countered effortlessly, his grin widening with every impact. Blood dripped from his mouth, but he laughed. Not out of arrogance, but out of pride. Yujiro, good, good. Show me the monster I raised. Show me my legacy. Baki roared, his body glowing with pure fighting spirit. He landed a clean hit to Yujiro's jaw. The ogre staggered back. The air went silent. For the first time, Yujiro Hanma bled. He wiped the blood from his lip and smiled. Yujiro, heh, you really did it, boy. The fight raged on, strikes, counters, bone-breaking throws, until both men were barely standing. The moon shone above them like a witness to history. Baki's final punch was a blur. It landed clean in Yujiro's chest. The shockwave leveled the valley. Yujiro fell to one knee, laughing weakly as his vision blurred. Yujiro, heh, I raised a damn fine monster. Baki dropped beside him, breathing heavily, tears mixing with blood. Baki, I didn't want to kill you. I wanted you to live long enough to see me surpass you. Yujiro, you did, son, you did. His laughter faded. His heartbeat slowed. The demon face on his back twisted, then smiled as if content. Yujiro's final thought, if there's a next life, I want a world strong enough to challenge me again. A crimson aura erupted from his body, spiraling into the sky like a pillar of fire. The earth shook one last time, and then silence. The ogre, the strongest creature on earth, was no more. The birth of the demon child. The void was endless, silent, weightless, eternal. Yujiro Hanma drifted through it, not as flesh and blood, but as will raw and unbroken. His body had died in battle, but his soul refused to rest. Even death seemed too weak to hold the ogre. Images of his life flashed around him. Baki's trembling fists, the earth-splitting blows, the faces of men who had once called themselves strong. He remembered the thrill, the laughter, the blood, and then the final strike that ended him. Heh! That kid finally did it. His smirk lingered even in death. But as he floated through the void, something deep within him stirred. Not regret, not sorrow, but an itch. No, not like this. The world still feels too weak. If there's another life, I want a world that can fight back. The darkness around him began to ripple. A pulse echoed, ancient, powerful. A red light bled from his chest and spread, illuminating the void. The demon face appeared behind him once more, its grin sharp and alive. It roared, and the void shattered like glass. A blinding surge of energy shot through dimensions, pulling Yujiro's soul into the flow of reincarnation. Crescent Moon years later, Kuo Town, Japan. A quiet hospital stood beneath a stormy sky. Lightning crawled across the clouds as a woman screamed in labor. Her husband, Goru Hyudu, held her hand tight, whispering encouragement through the chaos. But something was wrong. The lights flickered. Machines began to glitch. The temperature dropped, then spiked. Even the doctors felt their hands shake for reasons they couldn't explain. Then the baby's cry split the air. It wasn't just a cry, it was a roar. A primal sound that shook the walls and shattered a nearby window. The lights burst. Papers flew off tables. A heavy, suffocating pressure filled the room. Everyone froze. One nurse dropped to her knees, gasping for air. Nurse. What is this? Pressure? The father felt his legs trembling, but somehow he smiled. Goru. That's my boy. The baby was strong, absurdly strong. His tiny hands clenched tightly, veins pulsing faintly beneath his skin. For just a second, his eyes opened, glowing faintly crimson, like embers of something ancient. The storm outside stopped instantly. No thunder, no rain, only silence. The mother, Miki, weakly reached for the baby. Miki, Issei, that's what we'll call him. The moment she spoke his name, the pressure eased. The doctors finally exhaled, whispering prayers under their breath. None of them could explain what they just felt, only that it was something inhuman. Waxing crescent moon that night, the Hyudu home was quiet. The newborn slept peacefully in his crib. The air was calm, almost too calm. But in the corner of the room, the shadows began to shift. A faint red glow flickered. For an instant, the demon face, the same one that once adorned Yujiro's back, appeared above the crib, grinning wide and silent. It stared down at the sleeping child, then faded slowly into his body. Inside Issei's soul, something awakened. Not a sacred gear, not magic, but pure instinct. A heartbeat like thunder echoed in his chest. The blood of the ogre lives again. And this world will soon learn fear. Child of the ogre. From the moment Issei Hyudu could walk, the world bent quietly around him. It wasn't magic. It wasn't a curse. It was presence. That quiet, suffocating pressure that made animals freeze and adults lose their words. Even as a child, Issei didn't understand what fear was. Drop of blood, the playground incident. The sun was bright, kids laughing, parents chatting. Kuo's little park looked peaceful. Then Issei arrived. 4 years old. Short, wild brown hair, and eyes that didn't look like a child's. Eyes that measured things. He walked up to a group of older boys fighting over a toy truck. One shoved another, yelling, "It's mine!" Issei tilted his head, watching. Then, without emotion, he stepped forward and took the truck from the boy's hands. "Boy, hey, give that back." Issei, "If it's yours, take it back." The boy swung. Issei didn't flinch. His small hand caught the punch effortlessly. He stared straight into the kid's eyes, unblinking, calm. A faint red flicker shimmered in his pupils. The older boy froze. His instincts screamed at him to back away. Every nerve in his body told him he wasn't looking at another kid, but at a predator. Issei, "That's what I thought." He dropped the boy's hand and crushed the plastic truck in his fist without even looking. Crack. Pieces scattered. The playground went silent. Even the birds stopped singing. Miki Hyudu rushed over, forcing a nervous smile. "Miki, Issei, you shouldn't break things." Issei, smirking, it was weak. That answer chilled her. Drop of blood, the father's observation. Later that night, Goru watched his son practicing punches in the yard. At only 5 years old, each strike hit the air with unnatural precision. There was no hesitation, no wasted motion. He'd seen fighters on TV, boxers, martial artists. None of them moved like that. Goru, Issei, "Where did you learn that?" Issei, "I don't know. My body just knows." Then Issei grinned, the same grin Yujiro once wore before every fight. That confident, superior smirk that said, "I'm above you." Something primal stirred inside Goru. He didn't say a word. He couldn't. Crescent Moon, the boy who feared nothing. The school, Issei stood out without trying. He didn't talk much, but his silence was louder than anyone's shouting. Teachers hesitated to scold him. Other kids avoided his stare. When one brave classmate tried to trip him as a prank, Issei stopped mid-fall, caught himself on one hand, and looked up with a smirk. Issei, try harder next time. He never picked fights, but when someone challenged him, it always ended the same. One hit. No hesitation. No wasted effort. It wasn't rage, it was control. Cold, sharp control. Fire the instinct within. By the time he turned 10, Issei's confidence was absolute. He didn't brag. He didn't threaten. He simply knew he was stronger. That's what scared people the most. His calmness. During a school sports day, Issei broke the record for the 100-meter dash by nearly 2 seconds. When asked how, he shrugged. Issei, my body just does what it's supposed to. That night, as he sat alone in his room, he stared at his reflection. His faintly red eyes glowing under the moonlight. And then he saw it, the demon face behind him, smiling faintly. But instead of fear, he smiled back. Issei, quietly, you again. Voice. In his head. Calm and deep, you're learning fast. Issei, you sound proud. Voice, I am. You're me, and I'm you. A small grin spread across Issei's face. Issei, then let's make this world interesting. The laughter that followed wasn't evil, it was free. The kind of laugh only someone completely unafraid of the world could have. The ogre returns to school. The morning sun cast its light over Kuo town, but for one young man, it didn't shine on him. It bent around him. His very presence carried pressure. Like gravity obeyed him out of respect. That man was Issei Hayadu, now 17. Years had sharpened him into something the world wasn't ready for. 6 feet tall, shoulders like armor plating, eyes cold and sharp like a predator's. His hair was wild, his smile lazy yet dangerous. A reflection of the man whose soul now burned inside him. Yujiro Hanma, the ogre himself. Even the way he walked down the street, slow, confident, heavy-footed, made people instinctively move aside. The local gang members who once picked fights with anyone, they crossed to the other side of the road when they saw him coming. Issei didn't start fights. He didn't need to. His existence was already a challenge to anyone foolish enough to look too long. Sun Kuo Academy, first day. The newly co-ed school buzzed with energy. Girls laughed, boys shouted until he stepped onto campus. The chatter died instantly. Heads turned. Student A. W. Who's that guy? He's built like a pro fighter. Student B. No way he's a student. Look at those arms. He looks like he could break a wall. Issei ignored them, hands in pockets, his red eyes half-lidded but always watching. Every movement was deliberate, calm, yet full of power waiting to explode. When he entered the classroom, even the teacher paused mid-sentence. Teacher, you must be Hayadu Issei, right? The new transfer. Issei grinned slightly. Yeah, don't worry, I don't bite. The teacher laughed awkwardly, but something in Issei's tone made it sound like a threat wrapped in charm. Issei sat near the back, leaned back in his chair, and glanced at his classmates. Most looked away quickly, the pressure was too much. A few girls whispered about how handsome he was, but deep down, they also felt it. That strange sense of danger that made their hearts race. Cut of meat, lunchtime chaos. The cafeteria was loud again until Issei entered. Conversations quieted. Trays clattered. He got his food, a mountain of rice and meat, and sat alone. A group of delinquents from the sports club thought he was an easy target. They approached with forced confidence. Delinquent 1, hey, new guy. You think you can just eat here without introducing yourself? Delinquent 2, yeah, we run things around here. You got a problem with that? Issei looked up slowly, chewing his food, eyes cold as a blade. Issei, you run things. Smirks. Then why are your knees shaking? Before the first guy could respond, Issei stood. He wasn't just tall, he was massive. His body cast a shadow over them. The tension in the air was suffocating. The leader tried to shove him, big mistake. Issei didn't even move his feet. He caught the guy's hand and squeezed. The sound of cracking knuckles filled the room. The guy screamed and dropped to his knees. Issei, calmly, Lesson 1. Don't touch what you can't control. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he pushed the guy back so hard he slid across the floor, stopping just before hitting the wall. The entire cafeteria went dead silent. Issei sat back down, unbothered, picked up his tray, and continued eating as if nothing happened. Issei, food's getting cold. You done wasting my time? The delinquents scrambled away, and whispers spread like wildfire. Waxing crescent moon after school rooftop encounter. Later that day, a gentle breeze blew across the school rooftop. Issei stood there, hands in pockets, watching the sunset. He could feel it, that familiar prickle in the air. Someone was watching. Down below, hidden in the shadows, Rias Gremory and Akino Himejima observed him from a distance. Akino, Era? That boy has an interesting presence, doesn't he? Kiba. It's not just presence, it's raw power. His aura feels like a monster's, but he's completely human. Kaneko, he smells like danger. Rias, serious. Stay away from him for now. That power isn't normal. It's ancient. As they disappeared in a swirl of crimson light, Issei's lips curled into a grin. He didn't know who they were, but he could feel them. That faint energy crawling along his skin like prey trying to hide from a predator. Issei, so that's what devils smell like, heh. Better not get too close, or they'll find out how it feels to bleed. The wind picked up, ruffling his uniform. His grin widened slightly. The girls down below watching from afar felt their hearts skip a beat. That grin, it wasn't human. It was the grin of a Hanma, the mark of the ogre reborn.